Hi, I'm Marcos, and the plane I used for this project was actually my partner's plane, Blazes, which was a tilt rotor airplane. And the reason why we picked his airplane was because when he created the planar surface for it, his planar surface actually looked like the Batmobile. And the reason why it looked like the Batmobile was because when he created the control points, when he moved the control points around, he moved around the ones surrounding his airplane as well. And so it ended up giving us a planar surface that kind of did look like the Batmobile. And so from this, we created custom curves on it and arrayed it, and so we could mill it in the wood shop. And when we set it up for milling, we used RhinoCam. And so in RhinoCam, we created a stock for it. And then after we created the stock for it, we picked our tool bit and we engraved it. And we used the ball mill 0.25, I think, and that's how it came out in RhinoCam. Except when we actually milled it down in the wood shop, it came out a lot different. I made the bottom. I was in charge of the bottom surface, and I made it way too shallow. And so when it actually started to mill, the ball mill actually started shredding off the foam, and the foam actually just started crumbling away instead of actually milling it and giving it a nice edge. And so after we milled it, then we got into laser cutting, and but first we created the planar surface by rebuilding it, and then from the rebuilt planar surface we created a triangular facade. And so after we created the triangular facade, then we laser cut it. And after we also created the triangular facade, we were supposed to turn it into something else. And so my concept for it was a wall. So I rotated it in Rhino and just try to see it and how it relates to a human figure. And so my concept that I developed from the wall was the wall of reflection. And basically what I wanted the wall to do was diversify light when it was entering an inner space by using the different triangles and angles from the triangles, and also implying a barrier found in nature such as cliffs or mountains. But I also wanted it to create an outer space where people would pause their movement and reflect upon themselves and their surroundings for just a brief yet powerful moment, so giving them like a resting point. And so for my initial design, I was really interested in water and the fluidity of water representing the movement of people. So I put water in the middle of the wall, so it's almost like a man-made waterfall. And the water will like cascade down, and the people passing by will get attracted to it by first the noise and then by what they see. And the water could kind of reflect their own appearance and their surroundings. Except I decided that after a while I decided that the water was too distracting from the actual wall and took away from what I was trying to do. And so instead I focused on the human experience by using the triangles. And so what I did for my second design was I broke it up into strips, and then I rotated each strip and then rejoin them with more poly surfaces to accentuate the angles, and that was how it could be experienced by a human figure. And so we also laser cut this design, or I also laser cut this design in Rhino and set it up for the laser cut machine that they use. And so this is how it came out from digital to physical. And but what I noticed from this design was that it was still too man-made. The triangles were still too uniform. They were all right triangles, and I wanted it to symbolize nature and cliffs and the chaos found in nature. And so I didn't want a strict pattern to it. So I went back to the planar surface, and I moved the control points around, and until I found the surface that I actually wanted. So after I found the surface that I wanted, then I started creating a new surface on top of it made out of different types of triangles and from different shapes and sizes, and that's how I got my final design, or my third design. And then I highlighted the different types of materials I wanted to use, which consisted of red rock, window panes, and aluminum sheets. And so this is a top view of it, a side view, and a zoom in of the types of triangles I had compared to what it used to be. And that's my design. And for it was actually really hard to difficult to put it together, and I had to break it down into strips again, except horizontal strips this time. And sometimes I had to sometimes I had to break it down into really tiny strips in order for it to connect because of the angles. The angles were too weird, I guess. And so this was my first model I made out of my final design. And then I ended up scaling it bigger, and I wanted to show the material too. So I created this one, and then this is my final design rendering. And then here are some more design renderings with texture. And yeah, that's my project. Thank you.